What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Napoleon Hogan's Ministry. Today we are on day 22 of our 31 days in Proverbs, 31 days in Proverbs, 31 days in March. Okay, so chapter 22 goes over, it covers a variety of different topics. Topics such as like your reputation, parenting, warning against anger, warning against being lazy, warning against taking bribes and things of that nature, or giving bribes. It goes over parenting and the consequences of your choices as well. So I highlighted a good portion of this chapter. So I picked out like 6 verses to go over, because otherwise it'd be basically just rereading the whole chapter. So verse 1 is the first one that caught my attention. It says, "A good name is to be chosen over great wealth. Favor is better than silver and gold." If you don't have a good name, in the sense of like people knowing that your name means something good, like if there's not positivity associated to your name, it doesn't matter how much silver or gold you have. If you cannot have good relationships with people, if your reputation with your peers or with the people around you is no good, your money doesn't matter. Your wealth doesn't matter. It is better to have great relationships with people with resources than to just have money. It's better to be in just great relationship in general throughout your whole life than to just have money. The next verse is verse 3. "A sensible person sees danger and takes cover, but the inexperienced keep going and are punished." I mean, that's ridiculously straightforward. If you see that something is a bad idea and yet you still move forward with it, you're not a sensible person. You don't have that common sense. If you're trying to make a good decision and you're like, "Oh wow, this one, if I keep going down this way, I'm going to get hurt, or I'm going to hurt somebody, or this is just not going to work out for me," and you're like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do it." That's pivoting, and that is something that a lot of people either won't do because they're like, "Oh, I already made the decision, so I'm going to follow through." Well, if you made a decision and then you realize it's a stupid decision, the best thing you could do is pivot and be like, "No, I'm not going to do that anymore." All right, verse 4 says, "Humility, the fear of the Lord, results in wealth, honor, and life." Again, I've said this repeatedly. It is God's will for you to have a long life, a good life, and to be able to be generous with everyone you know. That is the will of God. It says right here, humility, and then it says the fear of the Lord, because it describes what that is, at least in the CSB version. So that fear of the Lord can also mean, again, the worship of the Lord. So it's a reverence and a submission to. So your worship of the Lord, which means submission in every area of your life, not trying to do your own thing, but to do His thing, results in wealth, honor, and life. It results in wealth, honor, and life. So if you're doing this and you're not getting these results, you need to make sure that you're actually submitted to God and not deceiving yourself going through the motions. This is not the first verse in Proverbs that says this. We've gone over this topic like repeatedly in every chapter so far. There's a verse talking about how the fear of the Lord or righteousness leads to life. Verse 6. "Start a youth out on his way. Even when he grows old, he will not depart from it." Again, planting those seeds of goodness in your children's hearts, followed up with proper discipline to really get those seeds really planted in the hearts of your children, is the goal of every parent. You're not raising good kids. You're raising great adults. That should be your focus. I want them, for my kids specifically, I want them to grow up and to be already on the path God has for them. Not trying to figure out what that is, but on that path. That is my focus as a parent. Okay, verse 8. "The one who sows injustice will reap disaster, and the rod of his fury will be destroyed." If your goal is to do injustice, it doesn't matter how tough you think you are in your moment of anger, God will destroy your goal. You reap what you sow. You sow injustice, you will reap disaster. You sow justice, you will reap life. Verse 9. "A generous person will be blessed, for he shares his food with the poor." That's very straightforward. Proverbs repeats it like obnoxiously, that If you're generous, you will prosper, because our Father in heaven is generous. If we want to be like him, then we need to be like him. The Lord's eyes keep watch over knowledge, but he overthrows the words of the treacherous. So that idea of keeping watch is not like just watching to see what will happen. Keeping watch is him making sure that those words do not return void. He keeps watch over them. He cares for them. He makes sure that those words still are living and that they will accomplish what they are sent to do. But it says right here, but he overthrows the words of the treacherous, meaning he actively blocks the words of the treacherous. And treacherous could be anything that exalts itself above the wisdom and the knowledge of God. Okay, verse 29 says, do you see a person skilled in his work? He will stand in the presence of kings. He will not stand in the presence of the unknown. Everyone knows who their favorite athlete is, favorite entertainer, favorite, even in your workplace, your favorite coworker can often be linked to the person who is really, really good at their job and isn't a jerk. So if you are good at what you do, it literally does not matter what anybody else says. Results speak for themselves. Okay, your results will put you in positions that you would not have been able to get to otherwise, because results matter. Words don't matter as much as results. You can say you're great at something, but unless you actually are, it doesn't matter. So if you're doing something and your focus is to be the best you can be, whether that's like being the best husband you can be, the best son you can be, or the best father, whatever it is, keep at it, because results matter. Looking back, you keep at it, and your spouse, your kids, your parents, your friends will see the results. They will see the effort you put in, and then they're going to respond positively to that. Well, thank you for joining me today as we go through chapter 22. Until I'm back with chapter 23, God bless. Peace.